You're not as far away from your goals as you might think. What if I told you you're only 3 simple changes away from completely eliminating brain fog forever? You must understand that it is your brain and your brain alone that is holding you back from achieving your goals, and not these stupid tactics or these YouTube videos containing that one piece of information you've always been looking for. Tell me if the situation sounds familiar. You wake up in the morning and go through your regular morning routine, getting out of bed, brushing your teeth, eating breakfast, and then driving to school or work, and while doing all of these activities, you're physically doing them, but it almost feels as if you're not actually there. Conversations with friends and colleagues allow you to nod your head, but the physical words seem to go right through you and the sound of them almost doesn't even exist. Simple tasks that only once took a couple of seconds to complete now feel extremely complex. Concentrating and doing anything remotely difficult feels nearly impossible, and it almost feels as if a cloud has entered your brain and completely wrapped itself around it. Even the physical environment around you seems to feel slightly diluted. The colors around you seem to be less bright and sounds seem to be less distinct. By fixing brain fog, you will get ahead of 90% of your competition. I know you see those videos online that always talk about how to get ahead of the 90%. The way you do that is by fixing brain fog that most of your competition has right now. So in this video, I'm going to show you the 3 ways that I used to get rid of brain fog and how you can do the same. The first thing that you must do to improve brain fog is to improve your diet. The gut is known as the second brain of the body. When your gut is unhappy, you are unhappy. Think about it when you have a stomach ache. Think about how bad you feel. You want almost the entire world to end. There's a reason for that, and that's because there are way more neurons located in your digestive system that affects your mood. So the first thing that you can do to improve your diet is to simply limit the amount of ingredients in your overall diet. What this means is that right now you probably eat something different every single day, really tasty food, which at the moment is good, but is actually holding you back and is causing you brain fog. Every meal that you're eating right now is different, including so many different types of ingredients that affect the taste, whether that be sugar, salt, different types of vegetables, different types of meats, just different types of overall things that you're eating in every meal that's causing your meals to be different. This is one thing that's causing brain fog, and the reason for this is because your body is having a very difficult time making sense of all the ingredients that you're putting into your body so that it can digest it and take nutrients from it accordingly. By incorporating much less ingredients overall in your diet, it becomes way easier for your body to make sense of this information, to take the nutrients out and to digest it accordingly. When you keep adding more ingredients and you just have a very complex diet and you eat new things every single day, it confuses your body and makes your body work way harder than it has to in order to digest and take those nutrients. In terms of one thing that you should cut and limit as much as you can, this is something called simple carbs. Simple carbs are basically foods that just break down into sugar extremely fast, and this is what causes those really short spikes in energy and causes a very fast crash right after. Some of these foods include white bread, white pasta, and processed sugars. These are all things that when you eat, you get a sudden rush in energy and then a very fast crash right after. Instead, you want to take out these simple carbs and replace them with more complex carbs, and this includes brown rice, whole wheat pasta, and fruits and vegetables. But like I said, overall, you want to keep the things that you eat overall in terms of just the sheer variety as low as you can so your body can make more sense of this information, and you want to eat the same things every single day. Another bonus tip that I want to give you is that you guys must eat a lot of protein. And I don't mean this so that you can build more muscle. I'm saying this so that when you eat more protein in a day, this will cause you to stay fuller longer and you'll have less of an urge to snack and eat these sugary foods or eat these white simple carbs. Now, I'm not saying that just one day a week you can't go out and eat something really tasty, or just one day a week have like one cheat meal. I'm not saying that at all. But on a day-to-day basis, like Monday through Friday, you want to keep your ingredients very low and eat the same thing every single day. The second step on this list to improve brain fog is sleep. Now, I don't mean just getting your 6 to 8 hours or your 7 to 9 hours of sleep. I mean getting better quality sleep. And what I mean by this is that you need to stay in deep sleep for longer periods of time. Deep sleep is the 4th phase of the sleep cycle. Put a chart of what the sleep cycle looks like, but it's the 4th phase of the sleep cycle where you get the most restorative sleep that causes you to feel refreshed in the morning. The reason why most people feel groggy is that they're not getting enough deep sleep. And the way that you can stay in deep sleep for longer is that you must follow the 3-2-1 rule. The 3-2-1 rule states that you must stop eating 3 hours before bed, you must stop drinking water 2 hours before bed, and all screens need to go away and turned off 1 hour before bed. Digesting is a very complex process that causes your body to work extremely hard. When laying in bed and when sleeping, your digestive system slows. So if you eat any time 3 hours before bed or eat extremely close to bed or you have these midnight snacks, your body, because it's digesting slower, has to work extremely hard to digest that food that you just intook without even knowing. And because your body has to work so hard to digest it, it causes your body to not enter this restorative sleep because it has to be semi-awake in order for this to happen. So ensure that you're not eating 3 hours before bed. The same goes with water. And the reason for this is because any closer than this is that if you drink a lot of it, you're likely to wake up in the middle of the night because you have to go to the bathroom naturally. And this also, because you're waking up, it's going to take you a long time to fall back asleep and get into this deep sleep cycle once again. Now, in terms of stopping screen time 1 hour before sleeping, you've probably heard this before, but you must understand that your phone emits blue light, and blue light confuses your brain into thinking that it's daytime. When you use your screens in bed or at nighttime, it's telling your brain that it's light outside and that it should be awake. Because of this, when it comes to sleeping and entering deep sleep, it disrupts the entire sleep cycle because your brain and body think it's time to be awake when it's really not. So if you want to improve your sleep cycle overall, but most importantly deep sleep, you must follow the 3-2-1 rule. Now, the third step on this list to improve brain fog forever is to decrease your stimulation by 80%. This step was by far the most critical for me, and as important as the other two are, I promise that if you do this one mainly, you will definitely see an improvement in brain fog. Just like when your body has too much physical activity, like you work out too hard or you just do too much physical activity overall, your body naturally gets way too fatigued. There's something called overdoing it, and too much overexertion and physical activity can cause body fatigue. The same thing goes with the brain. When your brain is overstimulated, it causes brain fog. We are the most overstimulated generation of all time. Stimulation is coming from all things at all times, whether it be our phones, video games, streaming services, from the foods we eat, from watching certain types of videos that I know you still watch but continue to do so. I don't know why. But we are just getting way too stimulation from all things at all times, and it's causing our brain to be overexerted at all times, and we never give it the proper restorative recharging that it needs. And when I say to decrease stimulation by 80%, I know that's going to be really hard, but you must do this. For example, your phone, you should limit your screen time to just 2 hours per day. If you do play video games, which I suggest you try to get off of that as much as possible, limit that to just one night a week. If you watch shows on Netflix or on Hulu or whatever, just watch 1 to 2 episodes per week. If you do like to go out, which I do too, you want to limit this as much as possible because one, drinking obviously causes you to be overstimulated, but also just the environment of the loud music, being with your friends and being up late at night is going to not only disrupt your sleep cycle, but naturally because you're overstimulated when it comes to doing hard tasks and working, obviously when your brain is overstimulated, you're going to be way too fatigued, and naturally your hard work that you have to do is not at all enjoyable in comparison to the fun that you just had last night. So if you do go out, I suggest limiting that as much as you can. Try to not exert over 1 day per week. I try to do just every other week, or honestly at this point just once a month. Now that you've decreased your stimulation by 80% in your life, that rest of the remainder of the time you want to fill them with more quote-unquote boring activities. And what I mean by this is you want to instead replace these overstimulating activities with more boring activities. And by boring activities, I mean things like reading, meditating, yoga, going out on walks, going for walks out in nature, getting some sunlight for 15 to 20 more minutes. These are all things that are natural activities to us that we could just completely abandon as a human race, that are all things that actually improve our health and make us feel better and will completely eliminate brain fog. When you do all of these more boring activities, your brain can actually recharge and get that restorative recharging that it needs to actually improve its function. All of these activities provide natural dopamine, and those other things such as your phones, video games, Hulu, and Netflix are all things that cause unnatural dopamine, which definitely fatigues your brain out way faster. So when you do these more boring activities, they'll act as a natural recharge which your body and brain needs. I promise you, if you just do these simple changes of improving your diet, sleeping better, and reducing the stimulation in your life, you will not only see an improvement in brain fog, but just an overall improvement in mood, and just the way you perceive life, the way you communicate with other people, your just overall zest for life will increase so much if you improve these things. Just to recap for your diet, just limit the amount of ingredients overall in your diet. Eat the same things every single day. I know it's boring, but like I said, eating is such a small part of your day. Why ruin your whole day, your weeks, and your months just because you wanted to get some stimulation for 30 minutes? In terms of sleep, follow the 3-2-1 rule. Stop eating 3 hours before bed, stop drinking water 2 hours before bed, and stop screen times 1 hour before bed. Your deep sleep cycle will be completely restored if you do it this way and you just follow with it. And lastly, decrease stimulation by 80%. You want to limit all of these activities that give unnatural dopamine, and you want to replace them with natural dopamine activities to give your body and brain the recharge that it needs. And I didn't really state it before, but like I said in all of my videos, if you really want to see a change in all of these things, it just takes consistency. If you do all of these things just for one day, you won't see a difference, even 2 days or a week. But if you just stick with it for a couple of weeks to a couple of months, I promise you, you'll be a completely different person and you will thank yourself later. And I hope to see you guys in the next one. Peace.